Welcome. Today is Wednesday, August 7th, and we're going to be discussing 5 tools for decreasing burnout as a birth worker that you can also use for your clients. So today, it's a little bit of a mix of teaching, a little bit of a relaxation reset for you. We will be doing a short 10-minute energy healing meditation and transmission, and also space for Q&A. And I will be sharing information on my upcoming practitioner program that's beginning next Monday. So it's a little bit of a mix of all of the things. So if you don't know me yet, hi, I'm Melissa. It's great to meet you guys. I'm so happy that you're here. I am the owner of the Atlanta Postpartum Doula Agency in Atlanta, Georgia. I am also an expansion principal energy healing practitioner and a business mentor. So my background is as a Cirque du Soleil acrobat and a D1 NCAA gymnast. I'm also a certified postpartum doula, and I also have my kinesiology bachelor's degree. I have a bachelor's in Spanish. I also have a certification in cognitive and behavioral change specialist, and I was also a NASM certified personal trainer. So I have a lot of, I have a lot there. um, but I've really refined my experience and my background into what I currently do as the owner of the agency and being a postpartum doula and integrating my energy healing practitioner into all of that. So I also love to teach birth workers, doulas, and entrepreneurs how to build successful businesses and how to create more ease and space in their life. And I'm going to show you some of those tools that I use. I do have a plethora of other trainings related to business that you can find in my free training library. If you want access to that, just send me a message and I'll send you over the link to sign up. I have a lot of things out there, but today we're talking about birth worker burnout. So how I arrived here, as I shared, my background is as my major, like majority of my background is as a gymnast and acrobat. A lot of that has taught me how to physically recover the body and how to stay mentally trained and disciplined in order to achieve your desired outcomes and goals. That translates quite well into postpartum recovery. And when I started having my own children, I saw that there's a huge gap in postpartum education that needs to be done prenatally. And it it was just very like discerning oh my gosh, I can't speak today. It was very alarming to me, the experience I had with my first 2 kids in my postpartum, where the support for the family just really isn't there. And also, there was this sense of, I didn't know any of this was going to happen, and I wasn't prepared for it, and no one told me about it. This was over 8, 9 years ago when I had my first baby. And I remember being first time pregnant mom and only hearing about labor and delivery and the baby registry. And that was the majority of where I spent a lot of my time. And now, of course, fast forward to where I'm at now, I've got 3 kids, and I understand that there really does need to be a cultural shift in the education that's occurring prenatally that has to include the massive changes that are going to occur when the baby arrives. And within the family unit, discussing postpartum recovery, how to prepare for postpartum in your pregnancy outside of a baby registry, and the other elements that are really important to incorporate. Additionally, I found out, what was it, maybe 3 years ago, that I started to tap into human design. And I found out I'm a 4/6 splenic projector. And we're going to talk a little bit more about human design. I'm going to explain about that. But I use it as a tool for self-discovery for myself, and also to learn how to better communicate, how to deepen relationships with those that are in my close proximity, as well as like in my family unit and also in my business. And with this 4/6 profile, I learned that a lot of the first part of my life was a lot about experiencing and bumping into life and um, moving through pieces of it that were really important and critical for me to have an experience to learn from. And as I got into the later parts of my life, being able to really refine and align more deeply with what are the most correct things for me to be doing. And using human design, I was really able to validate a lot of what I have been shifting into more and more. It can be really discerning when a previous thing that used to work really well for you now, fast forward 10, 15 years later, doesn't work anymore. And that really can apply to a lot of stuff, right? Like friendships, your career. And we can feel a lot of like guilt emotions around what that can mean. Like for me as a gymnast, that means, certain, I should be doing certain things, but right now as a mom of three kids, those things don't really align anymore. And it also impacts us a lot with work and career. And human design was really able to help me shift my mindset and allow there to be more space and ease in how I'm naturally meant to be operating. So we'll talk more about that. But that's just a little bit about me and how I got to this place. A lot of it has been my background and then becoming a mother. That always really radically shifts us, right? And then really leaning into and diving into my own healing journey and process, which then also landed me to build my agency, the Atlanta Postpartum Doula, with a very high focus on revolutionizing postpartum, specifically here in America, because I did get the opportunity to experience cultures all around the world. And I got to see that many other countries do it so differently for families and women recovering after they have a baby. Like in Canada, I know there's like up to a year or 18 months, depending on which province you live in. You get a long time to be at home. You get subsidized childcare at really reduced rates. So it's very supportive to the family unit, but we don't have that here. And so my focus is to radically revolutionize it. And I do that with increasing awareness on postpartum education, connecting to providers and the community to like our clients to the providers, right? And then also introducing new ways to be nourished and supported in your pregnancy and postpartum. And also, I've learned and found out, like me, I'm not the only one here, that people are really craving ways to heal. There's a massive movement occurring where we are actively choosing, I don't want to do this anymore, and I want a new way and I want to feel differently. I don't want to feel rushed all the time. I want to slow down. I want to feel more settled. I want to feel more grounded. I want to feel more confident in the choices that I'm choosing. And I want to know why I feel that way. And it's for ourselves, but it's also the people that we're working with are feeling this shift as well and wanting and craving for ways to move forward from this stagnation almost. And I was also noticing that there is a lot of burnout occurring, a lot of exhaustion, fatigue, chronic illnesses, and this absolute need for change. We're at a point where it's a non-negotiable, is what's happening. A lot of people are like, I can't do it anymore. It needs to be changed. Like what? But then where do they go? What do they do? And when they're searching for this guidance, they need a guide to walk with them through this process of changing. And so, what is the definition of burnout? It is an extended period of stress that feels like it cannot be relieved. It is an overtax, an overburden, overload, doing too much. And this is something that we can see and sometimes presents in birth work and as doulas in pregnancy, in labor and delivery, and also postpartum support. So mostly it happens in overnights. And how it can present, it can look like emotional exhaustion. Okay, feeling very drained, feeling overwhelmed, unable to emotionally engage with people, not just your clients, but like in your personal relationships too. It can present as physical fatigue, so feeling constantly tired, having muscle aches, frequent illnesses or sleep disturbances. It can also present as depersonalization, so developing a cynical attitude towards work, or towards your clients, or feeling really detached or disconnected. It can also present as reduced sense of accomplishment. So questioning yourself, doubting yourself and your contributions, or feeling, this is a big one, feeling underappreciated or undervalued. Those are really, really big ones there. And then just mental fatigue, feeling kind of foggy, having a difficult time concentrating, memory problems, or difficulty in making decisions and challenges. So if we have awareness of these symptoms that can be presenting, and we can catch it early, and we have tools that you can do when you notice those symptoms coming up, it can help to decrease the burnout. It can give you space and give you an action plan so that we don't get to this place of, I just have to like quit my job, or I just have to stop, which sometimes we need to get to that breaking point, in all honesty. And I'll share a little bit more about my journey with Cirque du Soleil and becoming a mother, and the reason I'm even teaching this class is because I did get to the point where I was teetering on the edge of being in a really bad situation. I was extremely burnt out. I had all five of these symptoms presenting. And it was when it was January, February, and March of 2020. I was in Montreal. I was doing a creation with Cirque du Soleil. I was single or solo parenting because my husband was here in Georgia. And I had two of my kids with me. I was working 50, 60 hours a week at Cirque, and I was shuttling them through the snow to daycare, picking them back up at 6 o'clock at night by myself, pushing through the snow, and doing it all over Monday through Friday. And it was exhausting. And we were getting right. I was so burnt out. I was really feeling very cynical towards my work, which is what I loved. But I couldn't get out of it. I couldn't see, I wasn't aware. And we were moving into the more challenging part of the creation process for the next 3 months, where we were getting ready to perform and do the premiere of the show in Montreal at the Old Port, where they present all their shows. And we hadn't even gotten to the hardest part, and I was already at the edge. And I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do it, because I was going to have to drive all the way to the Old Port, which was adding 45 minutes each way to my day for a commute, which I didn't previously had. And so I was really lucky that COVID happened and we all got sent home. And they told us we're going back in 4 weeks, and we didn't. And I really finally had time and space to recharge my body and figure out what I'm going to do with my career, because I was burnt out and it just wasn't working anymore, and it wasn't a match anymore. And so luckily I was forced out before anything serious happened, because I really could have gotten very hurt. I was doing aerial work at the time. And the thing is, like, what we do as birth workers, if we are driving to births at 3 and 4 in the morning, or we're driving home from a 6 a.m. shift, of an overnight shift, and we're driving on the road for 45 minutes to an hour, it can put us at a really high risk of something horrible happening if we're not really in tune and checking in with our physical and mental capacities. And am I burned out? Am I needing a shift? Those, come into play of why it's important to address burnout, right? Like this, your safety, your personal health and well-being, and the sustainability of your career. If this job is something that you want to continue doing, this is really important to be aware of and have the tools to manage it. And also, it's for us to maintain the quality of care that we're giving to our clients. But the biggest thing that I've found is, and what's most important about this work, is that we are role modeling to our clients, and we're demonstrating the importance of self-care and having this balance between the work that we do and our life. And we need more of that, because we see it so frequently in pregnant and postpartum women, especially when they enter into motherhood, that fourth trimester and the first year of life, that women aren't caring for themselves like they really need, and they're not including themselves in the equation of, are all the needs getting met? And so that means when we can role model that, yes, my needs are important. I have a 12-hour cutoff. If I'm at a birth for 12 hours and she's still laboring, I'm calling in a backup, right? That kind of stuff. That shows that we are taking care of ourselves. And so we're going to get into some of the tools. Through my process with my, my NCAA career, my CERT career, and also the education I received while I was in university and becoming a doula and my other programs that I went through, I learned a healthier way to operate. And I specifically use these 3 modalities that have elevated where I'm at today, it's left me with more space in my life, more regulation, so that I can make clear decisions. And I'm very hyper aware of taking care of myself and that my needs are important too. So this is very, very multifaceted. I know I'm kind of like moving in different layers is what it kind of feels like. But the 3 modalities I use are human design foundations, nervous system tools, and energy healing support. I found it's been a really effective trifecta of modalities that I use for myself, but also for clients that are pregnant and postpartum, to give them outcomes like less nausea during the first trimester, the ability to feel rested when they're not able to sleep at night because they're in their 3rd trimester and they're so uncomfortable, right? Big things like that make a huge difference in our clients' lives and ourselves. And so let's get into the 5 tools. They are, number 1, pulling your human design chart. There is an activation that occurs when you see this for yourself, and even if you don't know a lot about human design, there is still going to be an energetic activation that happens, especially when you see like, oh, I'm a manifester. Oh, I am a projector. Oh, I am a 5/1 in my profile. And when you start to pull the little bits of information from each of these pieces of the chart, you start to notice a relaxed sensation within you. Because, and I say this, like it really will resonate with so many different people, because it is a lot of this validation that, oh my gosh, what I'm doing makes sense, and why I do it makes so much sense. And so that's one of the things that's really important to be starting off with. And then the next tool is to start a daily ritual with the nervous system tools handout that you guys are going to be receiving. There's 10 tools that I use it there on a varying basis, right? It depends kind of like on the client I'm working with, the ones that I think would work really well for her. Or for myself, if I'm using those tools, it's really going to be based on what's going on like in that day or that week that is going to be most impactful for me. But what I suggest is going through that list and picking out 1 to 2 to start with and doing it 3 times a week and start to see what shifts for you. Because the majority of us are operating in a space of fight or flight. Very often, our adrenals are most likely taxed, especially if you are a mother yourself. And what I've known to be true is that many of us are very depleted in minerals and nutrients, which can affect the nervous system as well, which is how our physical body is going to be responding to our life, to our everyday life. And this is where that can really come in handy, that if we are regulating our nervous system, it's going to open up a lot more doors and opportunities to see and be aware of what little tiny nuanced pieces of our day needs shifting. That's where it can come in with birth worker burnout, is that if you're actually able to see what's occurring, you can make the changes, right? Like the story I told you, when I was in Montreal, in 2020, I could not see that I was at a really bad place. And if you don't like it is on us ourselves to check that within ourselves. Like we could say, oh, I should have a team of people around me to be able to say like, hey, you're X, Y, and Z, you should probably stop. But really it comes from ourselves. We have to be the ones to make the changes, right? The third tool is to incorporate yoga nidra 3 times a week. So if you haven't tried or heard of yoga nidra, it is really fantastic. I'm gonna talk more about that because it's so critical. The other tool I'd love for you guys to start doing is a daily affirmation. And I want you guys to do it right now. And you don't have to say it out loud, or you can say it out loud if you'd like, because you guys are on mute. But what I want you to do is you put your left hand on your belly and your right hand on your heart, and you take a deep breath. You release, and you say, I honor my body as sacred. And you can repeat that as many times as you want, and at least once a day. And this is something that will resonate very deeply within you. It will activate you to slow down and settle. And it really changes everything that you do in your day, what you fuel your body with, how you sit, how you say no to things that you don't want to do. Because saying no and having boundaries and holding the boundaries are super, super critical in honoring your body. So it's like, oh, there's a 5th client coming in for this month and I could squeeze it in, but man, it would really throw me off and it would really make me probably kind of sick. And if you just sit there and you're like, I honor my body as sacred. Okay, no, I don't need to take that 5th client. That kind of stuff. That's where this is critical, critical work. And then the 5th tool is expansion principle energy healing, which I like to call your energy hygiene. Where is that at? Where's that sitting for you? And we will be doing a short transmission and meditation today, so you can experience what that is like. So I said I'd share a little bit about human design. Human design is a system that combines elements of astrology, the I Ching, the Kabbalah, and the chakra system, and it pulls it all together. It's a really massive system. And you are able to see your unique energetic blueprint that showcases your natural strengths, challenges, and your overall mechanics, the energetic mechanics of how you operate in the world. And so I kind of like to view it as, I mean, it's energy, but they're magnets, right? And things lining up and matching correctly, offering this really, really smooth walking in the world. So it's kind of like you're walking a path and the path is clear and it's simple and it's easy and it's fun and it's smooth and you get to like enjoy the scenery because it's safe and smooth. But what happens sometimes is that we're so used to operating out of conditioning or societal stories or societal pressures that our path that we're now walking on has massive trees and sticks, and we have to like move things to the side, and it takes up all our energy to just push these things aside so we can walk, and we're not able to enjoy the scenery. We're not able to be calm and regulated because we're operating out of a way that's not correct for us. And depending on your unique blueprint, it can really reveal and remove a lot of the junk that is on your path to make it easier. It really acts as a very powerful tool that offers essentially like an inner guide for you for self-discovery and aligning with your authentic life rhythms. I also love to use it for validation and boundaries because it makes holding my boundaries much easier. And I don't have this wavering like, oh, I don't know who's going to get their feelings hurt if I do that. No, it's really, really clear and simple. It doesn't work for me, and I'm not going to be able to do that today. And that is extremely powerful and potent. And if you think about this, having that hold true for yourself, what can that do for your clients that you work with if you're able to teach them these skills within themselves? It's huge, especially for pregnancy and postpartum. Okay, nervous system. So we've talked a little bit about this. It's really focusing on regulating the automatic nervous system, which plays a very crucial role in managing your stress response. I like to view it as being able to ride the waves of life versus being thrown around with the waves. And you probably know you've worked with some clients who probably feel like their nervous system is a little bit more ramped up, especially if it's, a mom who has their baby in the NICU and they're getting ready to come home. And those first couple days at home are like a high, oh my gosh, right? If we have these tools that we can share with them, it can radically improve how their experience is when they bring their baby home, right? That's one example. You can look at this also through the lens of labor and birth and the preparation of what you can offer clients if you are teaching them tools of regulating their nervous system if they're going to be birthing at the hospital, but they really would rather birth at home, which I think some of you guys are here in Georgia, but the access to providers in Georgia, especially when it comes to home birth and hospital and birth centers, is really limited. And so we do have to sometimes equip our clients with tools when they're going into the hospitals to birth. And today we're going to be specifically talking about grounding and resetting tools to find that calming set point. And we're going to experience it too with the EP meditation. So these are the 10 tools that I was talking about earlier about nervous system tools. You can read through them here. The ones we're going to be talking about are the meditation with the meditation, yoga nidra, and energy healing. And I'll be combining the meditation with the energy healing. And yoga nidra is just so fantastic for everything, honestly, especially pregnant women. It's just so juicy. So if you haven't heard of yoga nidra, it's a powerful meditative practice that guides you through a state of deep conscious sleep that relaxes your body and mind. It promotes physical, mental, and emotional relaxation. It absolutely reduces stress. It improves sleeps and it enhances your overall well-being. And it truly is a nervous system reset. They say that when you are doing yoga nidra, it's as restorative as 8 hours of sleep in a 15 or 20-minute yoga nidra session. And that's amazing. And it holds true. When I had my third baby, life gets crazy when you have 3 or 4 kids. Like it just radically like and of course, I had a newborn, wasn't sleeping much. I still had responsibilities with my 2 older kids. And yoga nidra really got me through that first year of my postpartum because I would take a 15-minute nap. Yoga nidra is like a nap, but it kind of walks you through this meditative practice. And it gives you such a restorative sensation in your body that like once you come out of it, you can take on the day. And so I really like to use this for myself and share it with my clients to actively practice each week in their pregnancy. And then it becomes seamless and integrated into their day to day that when they get into postpartum, they're like, oh, I got to do my yoga nidra because I know how nourishing and supportive it is. And it's automatic for them. That kind of comes into play where this prenatal education that needs to occur and how it can support postpartum recovery. Okay, and a little bit about expansion principle energy healing. So I am a level 2 expansion principle practitioner. I'm also getting my level 3 and I'm going into my teacher training this year. I'm actually starting tomorrow, which is super exciting. EP is an energy healing modality. It is similar to Reiki. A lot of people have heard about Reiki. So it's similar to that, except the difference with it is that it heals at the seed. It heals at the inception of where a trauma, issue, theme have occurred. And I like to call it functional. It's the functional medicine of energy work. I'm a big proponent of functional practitioners. I think they work so fantastic. It makes the most sense to my logical brain. Like yeah, I don't want to cover up a symptom. I want to get to the root cause and heal the SHIT out of it so that I don't feel the symptoms anymore. That's maybe just the gymnast in me. I don't know. But I like to get to the bottom of it and to the root. And that's what EP does energetically. And how that can look is that it not only works on your timeline. And let's say, like for me, a big one was my mother wound. I have a difficult relationship with my mother. And I needed to sort that out because it was really weighing heavily on me. And that's one of the things that I used EP on. And the really cool part about it is that it heals at the seat of where this occurred, and it moves forward and back, which is that it transverses timelines. It um, impacts your previous timelines and your future timelines and your current one. And then the really cool thing about EP is that um, it's multidimensional, and so it can impact ancestral lineage as well. So it depends on like the work that you're specifically doing. If you're wanting to do your own personal timelines or you're also working on ancestral lineage, but EP can do that, which means me healing my mother relationship also impacts my daughters, the relationship her like that we have together, and for my grandparents and for our future children and all of that come after us. And that's pretty powerful, right? EP has the ability to release trauma, restores the energy body, it activates DNA, it alleviates physical pain, it brings balance to the emotional system in a very gentle way. It's extremely sovereign, and this goes very well with nervous system work, right? It's such a great combination, which also works so super, super well with human design. The three of these are such a great balance in weaving together a healing journey and opportunity for everyone. And an example of this is physical pain being relieved. I've noticed when I work with my first trimester clients, and we do an energy healing session together, they will have less symptoms of vomiting and nausea during their first trimester, which is huge. We all know how difficult first trimester nausea can be. So EP can work really well for that. I used EP for labor and delivery, and it really can set you up for a smooth delivery and a smoother postpartum. It also can help with alleviating anxiety, depression, releasing fear. And I like to use it for birth and postpartum trauma. And it's really nourishing for women who have experienced really difficult journeys. And I'm sure many of you guys have heard some really difficult stories from our clients going through birth, right? It's difficult. Okay, let's do the meditation. Okay, so I am going to pull this out and we're gonna get started. You guys are all off camera. Okay, great. So I'm gonna go off camera as well and we'll get started. Okay, I'd love for you guys to start to get comfortable. Find a nice seated position, or if it feels good, laying down. If you are driving, please keep your eyes on the road and know that you can come back to this meditation at any time and you can still receive the benefits. Go ahead and place your hand on your heart if it feels comfortable, and start to notice your body settling and slowing down. Taking note of your breath, filling up and letting go. Starting to relax your hands, arms, deepening into the ground that you're resting on, and allowing your body to just slow down. and let go. And when you're ready, you're going to start to notice a golden light shining bright, and you're going to start to walk towards it. And you're noticing the warmth of it hitting your skin, allowing you to feel safe and open. And as you walk, you notice a meadow, and it feels comforting and inviting. And so you walk towards it, noticing the way that it smells, the cool breeze coming through. And as you walk into the meadow, you notice a little picnic blanket. And you decide to go sit on the blanket and rest as you take in the warmth of the golden light, noticing your surroundings and how safe you feel sitting here on the blanket, noticing the tension release from all parts of your systems, feeling free and open, feeling peaceful and physically relaxed. And at this time, taking a deep breath and letting it go, and asking, what do I need to know right now at this time for my highest expression to come through? And letting anything that comes forward, knowing that it is correct for you at this time. And if there's anything heavy presenting, it can lift off at this time. And as we've been discussing burnout and regulating our nervous system and slowing down, we now release any energies or any emotions that are not ours, letting them go and opening up this EP transmission to come through, clearing out any stickiness of feelings of unworthiness or enoughness, and letting it dissolve away at this time. Knowing that you are loved, you are full, and your needs are being met all the time. Taking a nice deep breath, and allow yourself to absorb this experience. And when it feels complete and you've soaked in the golden light, you begin to stand up and walk away from the meadow, saying goodbye and beginning to walk back. And beginning to settle back into your chair or the ground that you sit on. Noticing your breath, feeling back into your body, wiggling your fingers and your toes, moving your head side to side, And when you're ready, opening your eyes and coming back to this time and space. Okay. If you feel called, feel free to share what you experienced and anything that came up for you. You can put it in the chat or you can come off mute. And if you have any general thoughts or questions just on the content itself today, you can share about that as well. And feel free just to pop off mute anytime or add it to the chat. But as we kind of wrap up, some homework, if you guys would like, is to simply journal on what are your needs? What do you need right now? And are they being met? I think that's a really, really great question to ask and ponder on and reflect on. Writing also holds a resonance to it and activates elements of the brain to really, to really ignite and kick on. So that's why I suggest journaling it out. And then also pulling up your human design chart. I do have a link I can give you guys for that if you need the link. And there's also this really fantastic blueprint template podcast. So if you want a little bit more, if you are ready to make a change in a specific part of your life, this podcast episode can really help to energetically build a new blueprint, a new foundation. I like to use this podcast when I'm doing business stuff. I love doing energy work on my business. And so, for example, if I'm wanting to really elevate to a new, like a higher volume of clients coming in, or just get to the next step, I will do this podcast to clear out anything that's not current or relevant in order to move into the next phase. I use that a lot for my agency building, honestly. And I can get you guys that link too. And if you guys are curious to learn more about any of these things, right? I have another free training called three ways to support your clients prenatally. So that will go in a little bit further with this work and how it can be applied, right? And that looks like mentoring and consulting and education. Those are the 3 ways. It's a really great training. I'm actually going to re-record it probably today and send that out. And then of course I have all the free training library too that has more business stuff, like how to get clients, how to create passive income. That stuff is really fantastic. You can also join the Practitioner program that I've got going on. It's a 9-month training program to become a certified pregnancy and postpartum practitioner, specifically with the modalities we covered today: human design, nervous system, regulation tools, and expansion principle energy. It is really about personal growth and development alongside getting a a certification in a new business service that you can offer your practice. It is for all birth workers and service providers, anyone who works with women in the perinatal period. That's who the program is for. And we are starting on Monday. So there's a deep savings right now for anyone who wants to enroll. And I also do private mentorship. So we can do business mentorship or energy healing sessions. I have 1 or 2 spots available for that. And are there any questions right now? Oops. I saw someone popped in the chat. Tanya says she'd love links. Yes, I will send those to you guys. I'm going to put it in the follow-up email, Tanya, for all of the things. And would anyone like to learn a little bit more about the practitioner program? You're so welcome. I will go into it really quickly here. There's just a few slides for anyone who is interested. Oops. So the Pregnancy and Postpartum Practitioner Program is to become a certified advanced pregnancy and postpartum practitioner. I know it's a mouthful. It is a 9-month live training program. We do have integration periods and we do enrollment each trimester. So we started in April. We go through one chunk of information. Then in the summertime, we had a little integration period where we embodied the material, and also we started the certification portfolio process. Then now in August, we're going through the second portion of the training. And then again in January, we'll begin another one. The second integration period happens during the holiday season, which is really perfect for everyone. And then we will cycle through it all again. So if you're starting in August for this trimester, you'll be with us for a full 9 months and you'll go through all of the different trimesters. We have 2 teachers and 1 more coming in for human design, for the nervous system regulation, and then also we have a midwife coming in to discuss the pregnancy and postpartum concerns and how to assess and how to refer if we need to, those kind of things. And it's also a lot of personal growth. You will become attuned to expansion principle energy. This is a new feature that's coming on for those students enrolling now. You will be able to use and send energy healing to your clients and yourself, right? That's super, super cool. So that is a new feature, which is awesome. The price is normally about $3,000, which I know is really high. And the thing is, this practitioner program is really about becoming this practitioner and stepping into these modalities, stepping into this new version of you who's more regulated and more calm and more centered and more grounded, and who adapts their life to align in that way. And that comes with the transformation and the pricing and all the elements that come with it. And also you will be learning a new service that you can apply in your practice immediately. And there is meant to be a really high return on investment for you guys. But I do know that pricing is oftentimes a big factor, and I want to offer a reduced rate for the next 5 days to take $1,200 off, almost 13 there, and the price is only $1,700 for right now. There's 2 payment options. You can pay in full or do monthly, starting at just $189, which is a really great rate. And what you will become, you're going to become more grounded and sure within yourself. You will become an energy practitioner. You will be skilled in pregnancy and postpartum concerns and how to provide solutions for them. You'll be a practitioner that can address deep layered emotions and themes with your clients and for yourself. You'll be a business owner with new services to offer. You'll feel and be confident to share your skills with your community. And you will become a resilient, grounded woman and business owner. And those are really beautiful things. And you get to hang out with me for 9 months, which is fun. Okay, that's what I have for you guys. If you have any questions, you can come off mute, put them in the chat. I am going to end the recording, but we can stay on.